Hey, so I didn't realize it, but my phone fucking died again as I was talking. So, alright, where was I? I was talking about, oh, fuck you, Miss Garcia, right? I had spent my whole recess, me and Charlie, our whole lunch recess writing this song about a chicken or a duck, some sort of bird. And she looked right at me. And I was expecting like a tear of joy, right? After we sang it for her. Tear of joy, like break out her phone, cause you know what I'm talking about. Like at 8 years old, all grown-ups have some kind of a famous contact, right? They got famous friends all over the place. So I'm expecting her to call up her good buddy John Legend or fucking somebody, be like, "Yo, I've got your new songwriter." That was not the case. She looked right at me, deep into my eyes, staring directly at my soul, and said, "You will never be a songwriter." Fucking broke my heart, man. There's no reason for that. She could have been like, "Yeah, like, you know, it needs some work, but you keep practicing, and who knows what could happen in the future, right?" Or it's pretty good, but you need to practice, practice so you can get better, so you can really be good at it moving forward, or whatever. I'm in 3rd grade, like 8 years old. Don't be a bitch. No reason to shit in somebody's cornflakes just because you're old and an asshole. Fucking encouragement is what elementary school kids need. Like constructive criticism, not just "you will never be a songwriter." Go fuck yourself, Miss Garcia. Bitch. So, that creamy leatheriness is starting to fade, or has faded a little bit at this point. And I'm getting the pepper is starting to come back, which is really nice. A little bit, and I'm getting like that smoky oak back, and almost like a bitter dark chocolate, almost. I'm digging it. I like it quite a bit. This little Camacho is quite enjoyable. What I say, the Aroma, I gave that, I believe, a 7. Stand by that. The composition, it's held the cherry really nicely. It's held the ash really nicely. The draw is pretty much perfect. It hasn't started to fray or anything. It didn't break or peel or split when I took off the wrapper, or the fucking, what do you call it, the ring. As of right this second, unless something changes, I'm giving it an 8 for composition. I'll give it an 8.5 for composition, because it got a little bit uneven, but then it evened itself out. God, people don't know how to drive out here. So I'll give it an 8.5 for composition, 7 for smell. And I'm digging the flavor. The flavor's gonna get high marks as well. For now. I mean, obviously, fucking anything can happen. But as of right now, I'm digging it. Yeah, I like this quite a bit. Excuse me. So, man, speaking of chickens, my wife wants chickens. I don't mind chickens. I don't dislike chickens, but I don't fucking trust them. Chickens are always up to something. They're always shifty-eyed, like they're plotting. Same with horses. There's a whole ass list of animals I don't trust. Not necessarily don't like, because you don't have to trust something to like it, right? And the flip side is true. You don't have to like something to trust it. Excuse me. You don't have to like something to trust it, and you don't have to trust something to like it. That's what I meant. But yeah, but there's a whole ass list of animals that I don't trust. I like them just fine, but I don't fucking trust them. Chickens are on that list. So are horses. Dolphins. I don't like or trust dolphins. Otters. I like them. They're cute and fuzzy and cuddly and shit, but I don't fucking trust them. Same with seals. Or giraffes. I don't trust giraffes. I was almost murdered by a giraffe one time. I'll tell that story at some point. That story got me kicked out of a zoo. Cats. I love cats. I don't fucking trust them. I had a cat. One of my asshole fucking cats. My youngest daughter named him Walter. Now Walter is a kitten, but he's also a giant dickhead. Right? He was up in my windowsill, and it was like fucking 2 a.m. and that little fuck jumped off of the windowsill directly onto my head. Woke me up, looked at me like I was the asshole, and then casually walked away. Like I was the asshole for being in his way. Motherfucker, I was asleep. You could have jumped literally anywhere else, but you decided to jump on top of my head. Bastard. He's a cuddly little shit, but he's a dickhead. Geese? I don't trust geese. I don't like or trust geese. They'll chase you and bite you just as soon as they'll look at you. I was chased by geese once. 4 years old. Terrifying. Whole fucking herd of geese chased me. Little 4-year-old me. That was traumatized. That's another fucking childhood trauma. Like, overall, I had a pretty good childhood, but there were some traumatizing events, and being chased by a whole herd of geese at 4 years old at the park, that's just traumatizing. And swans. I'm convinced that swans and geese are the same goddamn bird. You cannot possibly convince me that they're different birds. And they both suck. Kangaroos. I don't trust kangaroos. I find them interesting, but I don't trust them. Kangaroos are fucking ripped, though. I had a landlord one time who raised kangaroos when I was living up in New York. He was cool. I liked him. He raised kangaroos at his house, and he told me that he would carry a fucking taser every time he went into the enclosure where he kept his kangaroos. And if a kangaroo, if one of the big males decided that he wanted to buck up and stood up straight and started to lean back on his tail, my landlord said that he would get in real close and fucking tase him before he could do anything. I don't know if I agree with that practice, but I do know that a kangaroo will fucking kill you. If you get caught with them big ass feet, them long ass claws, kangaroo will wreck your world. I like that little bit of pepper and how it works with that smokiness. He was raising them for meat, I guess, and he would he'd have them butchered, and he'd send he did like a mail order kangaroo meat business, and he'd send that shit all over the country. That was pretty cool. They're dumb though, from what he was saying. In terms of loud noises, unexpected loud noises, they're fucking jumpy. Which, I mean, I get that, but he said, he told me one time that he'd go out there, because he kept them, man, this guy's fucking smashing. Anyway, I guess, so he kept them, he had a big enclosure, a big fenced-in enclosure for them, but it's upstate New York, in the winter it gets cold as fuck, and they don't like that. So, he also had a pretty big barn that he had converted as, a open kangaroo housing area. And so, they'd go in there at night when they weren't all fucking hopping around and shit. And he said that every time there was a thunderstorm or some shit and loud thunder, he said he'd go out there the next morning and there'd be 3 or 4 dead kangaroos because they'd get scared by that loud noise, and when they're startled, they just fucking launch themselves forward as their fight or flight response kicks in, and they'll just fucking launch themselves forward in whatever direction they happen to be facing. And so he said he'd go out and there'd be 3 or 4 dead kangaroos in the morning after a large thunderstorm, because they'd hear the thunder and launch themselves forward like straight into a wall if they happen to be facing the wall, and a bunch of them would break their necks and they'd fucking die. Not the mark of an intelligent animal. They're interesting as fuck though. Kangaroos got that ripped ass body, looking like bodybuilders and shit. It's tasty too. It's a lean ass meat. Easy to overcook, but that shit is delicious. Penguins. I don't trust penguins. That's not true. I don't. No, it's true. I don't trust penguins. They're always up to something. They're cute though. I like penguins. I just don't trust them. I have a lifetime ban from SeaWorld because I put a guy into the penguin tank. Which, okay, wasn't 100% my fault. Excuse me. So, I'm fresh back from Afghanistan, right? Like, to the point where I am barely off crutches. I've said before, I got fucked up in Afghanistan. I stepped on a roadside bomb. They had to completely fuck is the word I'm looking for? Rebuild. They had to rebuild my right leg, which is super fun in the cold. But anyway, so I'm at SeaWorld. At the time, my wife was at work or something, so I'm watching my daughter. I'm barely off of crutches. Crazy PTSD, right? Rage issues and whatnot. So we're at SeaWorld, and my daughter is taking a nap. She's like 3-ish. 2 or 3. And so she's taking a nap in her stroller. I'm just killing time, just enjoying the sunshine, right? And so the SeaWorld in San Diego, is it in San Diego? I don't think it's in San Diego. It's in the San Diego area. It's in Southern California. But anyway, so we anyway, at that SeaWorld location, there is a big, alright, so there's a building that's got the penguin exhibit in it, right? And it's refrigerated and shit, so that they're comfortable. Back behind glass, so you can watch them play and frolic and whatnot. And then, excuse me. And then there's like this. It opens up from the indoor area to an outdoor area, and it's this huge like. There's like a waist high little higher than waist, like an armpit high, fake rock retaining wall with a bunch of windows and shit in it. Tank, and then it's like, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 feet deep if I had to guess. Full of water. And anyway, so the indoor area for the penguins, there's like a tunnel where they can swim out, and it opens up into the big outdoor tank where everybody can watch them. And there's an island in the middle where the trainer or the penguin expert can come out and stand up on the island and talk to the crowd about, oh, penguins this and penguins that, blah blah blah. So that like bitter, dark chocolatey note is starting to come through more prominently. It pairs really well with that smokiness. But anyway, so the trainer lady is out there standing up on the island talking to the crowd, and I'm just kind of sitting there looking at the penguins while my daughter's asleep in her stroller next to me. And this dude and another smaller girl, probably 4 years oldish, is standing right there, pretty much right next to me. And she's crying about something, as 4-year-olds tend to do, crying about ice cream or fucking something. And this guy, I assume he was her dad, but he might have been an uncle or family friend or some shit. Babysitter, male nanny, whatever. It was clear that he'd had too much to drink, right? Like, he smelled like a brewery, and, which is a problem when you're watching a 4-year-old and it's like 1 in the afternoon. But like, he'd obviously had too much to drink. And so she's crying about something, and he figures out that the best way to make her stop crying is, excuse me, to smack her in the back of the head hard enough to bounce her face off that fake rock wall. And like, hard, like, it split her lip, she's bleeding all down her chin and shit, which obviously she's not going to stop crying at that point. She just gets louder, as one does. And instead of, oh shit, like, I'm sorry, like, that was, I didn't mean for it to be that hard, whatever, he kind of chuckles and tells her she needs to suck it the fuck up. And reflexively, I put him over the wall into that penguin tank. And of course, the fucking trainer, all she sees is me putting this guy over the wall. She doesn't see him bouncing this kid's face off the rock wall. All she sees is me putting this guy into the penguin tank. It went out. It was about done anyway. This was quite enjoyable. I gave it a 7. I think I said a 7 for the aroma. Give it an 8 for the composition. 8.5 for the composition. For the flavor, it started strong. It wasn't super complex, but it started strong, and then it evolved in ways that made it better, not just different. So I'm going to give this a solid 8.5 for the flavor as well. Let the math for a second. and 8.5 is 17. Plus 7, that's 24. Divided by 3, 8. Beautiful. A flat 8. 8.0 for this little Camacho Coyolar. Camacho Coyolar 8.0. Bravo. Very enjoyable. Excuse me. Where was I? Oh, so the trainer lady, she doesn't see this guy bounce this little girl's face off the rock wall. All she sees is me putting him over the wall into the penguin tank. So she immediately calls security. That's fair. Security shows up. They see this little girl bleeding, and then they see this guy like treading water in the fucking in the penguin tank, getting pecked and shit by the penguins, which I thought was hilarious. The trainer and security, not so much. But everybody around, all the witnesses and shit, were like, no, he had that coming. Like, look at the little girl, blah 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 blah. But I mean, technically, I did infringe on the animal's living area or some shit. So I got a lifetime ban. But he left in handcuffs for assaulting that little girl, which I'm okay with. I was escorted off the premises and told not to come back. And, they've got my face and my name in SeaWorld security program or fucking whatever. I'm not allowed back there. But I'll take it. SeaWorld's a shit fucking corporation anyway. The way they treat their animals and shit. So, in conclusion, fuck you, Miss Garcia. Beyonce definitely had Aaliyah killed. Michael Jackson and O.J. Simpson both fucking did it. And Camacho Coyolar. Camacho Coyolar 8.0. Very enjoyable. As always, like, subscribe, share, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.